If you look around at moving objects, you will notice that they are performing different kinds of motion. For example, a car moves straight along the road, an electric fan rotates, etc. So today we are going to discussing the topic types of motion. What are the different types of motions? Here we are going to discussing 10 different types of motion. First one is translatory motion, then rotatory motion, circular motion, oscillatory motion, vibratory motion, periodic motion, non-periodic motion, random motion, uniform motion, non-uniform motion. Okay, so first one is translatory motion. If the body moves through the same distance in the same time, then the body is said to have translatory motion. Imagine you walk 10 paces first along a straight line and then along a curved line. And motion of an apple falling from a tree, and motion of a girl walking on the road, and a moving bus or if any vehicle. So these are some examples of translatory motion, and this translatory motion are two types. First one is rectilinear motion or linear motion, and second is curvilinear motion. Okay, yes. So what is this rectilinear motion? When a body moves along a straight line, the motion described by the body is rectilinear. When a body moves along a straight line, the motion described by the body is rectilinear. It is also known as linear motion. For example, a train moving on a straight rail track, a car moving on a straight road and freely falling stones, a coin moving over a carom board. These are the rectilinear motion. And next is curvilinear motion. Curvilinear motion, when a body moves along a curved line, the motion described by the body is called curvilinear. When a body moves along a curved line, the motion described by the body is called curvilinear motion. Example, a car or train moving along a curved road or track, a ball thrown upward at an angle. These are what the examples of curvilinear motion. And next we are going to discussing rotatory motion. When a body moves around a fixed axis, it is said to be in rotatory motion. When a body moves around a fixed axis, it is said to be in rotatory motion. For example, a spinning wheel or charka or chain wheel, a spinning top, potter's wheel, a ceiling fan. These are some examples of rotatory motion, and these all having one fixed axis. It will rotate. Okay. Yes. So what is rotatory motion? A motion in which a body moves around about a fixed axis without changing its position. That is called rotatory motion. And next is circular motion. Circular motion. A body is said to be in circular motion if it moves in a circular path around a fixed point. It is also a special kind of curvilinear motion in which a distance of a moving object from a fixed point does not change. Thus, the motion of a body along a circular path is called what? Circular motion. So, circular motion is the motion of a body along a circular path. Okay? Yes. So, what are the examples of circular motion? The earth revolving around the sun. The girl weighing a stone tied at the end of a rope in a circular path. These are some examples of circular motion or circulatory motion. Okay. Next is oscillatory motion. Some objects move as a whole to and fro or back and forth along the same path without any change in shape. In such situations, the objects are describing oscillatory motion. The to and fro motion of a body about its mean position is called oscillatory motion. So, what is oscillatory motion? The to and fro or back and forth motion described by an object as a whole along the same path without any change in the shape of the object is called what? Oscillatory motion. Okay, so some examples of oscillatory motion: a boy on a swing, the pendulum, that you know that the pendulum clock, the pendulum of a clock moving to and fro, and the third example, the needle of a sewing machine. That's a familiar example, the sewing machine needle that's moving up and down, and the piston of a motor car, the pressing cylinder of a juice machine at a fruit seller's shop, the piston of a spray pump, etc. all performs oscillatory motion. What is oscillatory motion? The to and fro or back and forth motion described by an object as a whole along the same path without any change in the shape of the object is called what? Oscillatory motion. And next is vibratory motion. There is another kind of oscillatory motion. This vibratory motion is another kind of oscillatory motion in which the body does not move as a whole. That is, the entire object does not move in this motion. A part of the body always remains fixed and the rest part moves to and fro rapidly about its mean position. For example, the metallic wire stretched between the 2 points. When the wire is plucked from the middle, it starts moving. Okay, it starts moving up and down rapidly. The motion is not oscillatory in nature because the whole string does not move up and down. Such a motion is called vibratory motion. Okay, so you have noticed that during this motion, a change in shape and size takes place. For example, all the musical instruments such as guitar, violin, sitar, drum, etc. produce sound because of vibratory motion. Even during breathing, when our chest expands or contracts, the motion is vibratory in nature, as all the points on the chest do not move out equally. Vibratory motion can be defined how? Yes, the vibratory motion is a kind of oscillatory motion in which the moving object undergoes rapid to and fro motion. Okay. So next is periodic motion. It is a motion which gets repeated after a regular interval of time. If you critically analyze the rotatory motion, oscillatory motion or vibratory motion, you will notice that all objects describing this motion repeat the motion after a fixed interval of time. Such a motion described by the object is collectively called what? Periodic motion. So, a repetitive motion which repeats itself after a fixed interval or regular interval of time is called what? Periodic motion. For example, the piston of a motor car engine running at a constant speed, the swing pendulum of a wall clock, the needle of a sewing machine running at constant speed. Heart of a normal resting person beats 72 times a minute. The motion of a swing, the movement of the lungs during breathing. So these are some periodic motions. Okay. Yes. And next is non-periodic motion. It is a motion which does not repeat itself after a regular interval of time. There are a number of situations when an object describes a repetitive motion but not at fixed interval of time. Such a motion is called what? Non-periodic motion. So, how can we define this non-periodic motion? A repetitive motion which repeats itself but not at fixed intervals of time. It is called what? Non-periodic motion. What are the examples of non-periodic motion? A football player running in the field up and down in performing non-periodic motion, as sometimes he runs fast and sometimes low. When breakers are applied to a moving vehicle, the motion described by the wheels is non-periodic motion. And the next is random motion. An object which suddenly changes its motion from one kind to another kind is said to have a random motion. For example, take a balloon and fill it with air. Notice the motion of the balloon as the air expelled from it. The motion possessed by the balloon is said to be random motion. Another example, a flying mosquito and flying kite and motion of football or hockey players on the ground are some of the examples of random motion. All these objects have no specific path and they changes their motion suddenly. So their motions are said to have a random motion. And next we are going to discussing that's uniform motion. Imagine an ant moving along a straight line towards east, such that it covers distance from one point to another point in 1 second. Similarly, it covers distance in 2 centimeters in every 1 second in a straight line. In such situation, the ant is covering equal distance in equal intervals of time along the same straight line. Such a motion described by a moving body along a straight line is called the uniform motion. So what is uniform motion? When a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time along the same straight line, the body is said to be describing uniform motion. And next is non-uniform motion. Imagine an ant moving along a straight line towards east such that in the first second it covers a distance AB, okay, that is 3 centimeter. Let the ant cover the distance BC is 20 centimeter in the next second and the CD that's 5 centimeter. That means an equal distance. So this you can see that ant is covering different distance in equal intervals of time in the straight line. Such a motion described by the ant as a non-uniform motion. So what is non-uniform motion? When a body covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time along the same straight line, the body is said to be describing a non-uniform motion. Okay. So example, cyclist cycling on a busy street is describing a non-uniform motion. So I hope all of you understood these all topics, 10 topics. First, it's the types of motion. First one is the translatory motion. Second is that's rotatory motion and circulatory motion. Then oscillatory motion. Then vibratory motion, periodic motion, non-periodic motion, random motion, uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Okay, thank you.